Hello everyone and welcome to Nathrandir's Guide to Everything. Today we're going to look at another character creator session for beginners, and this is going to cover the Blood Hunter, which is a class that comes from the Critical Role universe, from the great mind that is Matthew Mercer. We're just going to look at a level 1 build, and I'm thinking like a vampire hunter style, like Van Helsing almost, is what I have in mind. I've got a little bit of experience playing a Blood Hunter, but that was my first ever character, so it's been a while. But without further ado, let's jump into D&D Beyond, and we'll get this character made. Okay, welcome back guys. We're going to look to create the character now. So you go to the My Character screen on D&D Beyond. You're going to hit Create a Character, and depending on how comfortable you're feeling, if you followed through with my Artificer video recently, you may not need the helpful text anymore, but if you do, feel free to keep that ticked on. We're just going to go with the standard build for now though. Once you're here on this screen, you're going to want to enable the critical role content, as the Blood Hunter isn't actually official content just yet. So make sure you switch that on, and that will enable you to select it as a class. It is super fun though. I have a bit of experience, like I said, with it. So we're going to randomize a first name, and we're going to go for More Dark. I quite like that. That's pretty. That's in theme, I think. And to come up with the last name, what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to stick Van in there because we're going to want that, because you know, Transylvania, etc., etc., etc. We're going to want that in there. But what I'm going to do is just go and quickly generate a name on a different website. Okay, so I just had a quick look through the Fantasy Names Generator website, which you can follow the link from here should you choose. I actually ended up going with a vampire name generator, and it came up as Martel. And I thought that was great. I quite like the alliteration. So we've got Moradark Van Martel. Sounds like a hunter to me. Let's continue to the next screen. So now we're going to pick a race, and we're going to go pretty simple here, I think. I like the idea of it just being a by trade, maybe human, maybe betrayed by undead or a vampiric creature in the past, or anything of any other undead, darker creature that you might want to hunt. This is a good time to ask your Dungeon Master if there's going to be a specific theme in your campaign, a specific kind of monster. Maybe that's what your quarry could be against. But we're just going to go with human. We're going to go with the normal variant, because ability score increases all the way across the board will be fantastic for a class like this. You get an extra language as well. So we will choose that. Fantastic. We get a language. Let's go with... what would I know as a hunter? It depends kind of what village I'm from, maybe. If we're monster hunting, then maybe we go down to a lot of mines and stuff, maybe dwarvish. Let's go with that. Bit of a dwarvish lineage there. Cool. Again, you can pick whatever you want. Ask your DM about the themes of the campaign, and that will make it more relevant. So as you can see, we've got Blood Hunter, critical role, just underneath it there. So we'll tap on there, and once again, same as the Artificer, there's a little bit of an overview here of what the class is. So if you need to know very simply, you just click on this and have a read. So we get a D10 hit die, a bit more than the caster of the Artificer that we played, and we're going to need it, trust me. Primary abilities are strength or dexterity, so you can play a heavy hitter or perhaps a slightly quicker character, and intelligence, and that fuels your what we'll get into in a minute, the Crimson Rites, and your spellcasting, excuse me. You have proficiency in light armor, medium armor, and shields, simple weapons and martial weapons, alchemist supplies for brewing those anti-vampire potions and bombs and all those kind of things. We can also choose some skills there, and this just goes through very basically what you have as a Blood Hunter and what you get at all these levels. We're just going to add a class for now because we're only going level 1 anyway. I can just show you on this screen. So proficiencies, I think this is fairly straightforward for a hunter of creatures. I think we'll need Arcana to identify magical creatures. That will be useful. We're also going for kind of a Witcher vibe here as well, which is fun. I think Religion as well, so we can identify undead creatures, things like that. As identifying them and knowing their weaknesses will help us a lot. And I think Investigation, so we can track these things down, spot anything that's hidden. So Hunter's Bane, a little quick overview of what this is about and what it does for the Blood Hunter class. So beginning at first level, you have survived the Hunter's Bane, a dangerous long-guarded ritual that alters your life's blood, forever binding you to the darkness and honing your senses against it. You have an advantage on wisdom survival checks to track fey, fiends or undead, as well as on intelligence ability checks to recall information about them. So those proficiencies we just chose, especially Arcana and Investigation, both intelligence based. So that's going to be amazingly useful and plays into the character perfectly. You also get Blood Maledict. You gain the ability to channel and sometimes sacrifice a part of your vital essence to curse and manipulate creatures through Hemocraft magic. Now Hemocraft is blood magic. You gain one blood curse of your choice, detailed in the blood curses section at the end of the class description. You learn one additional blood curse of your choice as you level up, and you can replace them on the way as well. When you invoke it, you choose a curse, and while invoking that blood curse, but before it affects the target, you can choose to amplify it, and you can sacrifice some of your hit points to give it extra effects. So it's best if I probably just show you. There's quite a lot of words there. So this gives you an overview of all the curses. Feel free to give them a read. I know which ones I'm going for, and I believe they are effective. So I'm going to go for Binding. I think that's a fantastic start. I mean, it's the one I chose on my previous Blood Hunter. As a bonus action, you can attempt to bind a creature you can see within 30 feet of you that is no more than one size larger than you. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or have their speed be reduced to 0, and they can't use reactions until the end of your next turn. So I see this as if I'm hunting something and they're trying to get away, or they're rushing me and I need to stop them so they don't annihilate me before I can even shoot my crossbow off, we're going to want to try and stop them. You can amplify this by sacrificing some of your life to make the curse last for a minute and can affect any creature, and at the end of each of its turns the cursed creature can make another strength saving throw. On a success, the curse ends. So this is fantastic because you can change it from just one round or for a whole minute, so you can just keep something imprisoned basically, and it's regardless of size. You can do this to anything, which is amazing. So we're going to stick with that for now. So nice and simple. There's our level 1 class abilities chosen. We'll head to the next page. So we're going to choose Standard Array again, which makes for a nice balanced character. And as we were aware before, Dexterity and Intelligence are what we're going to go for. If you see yourself as more of a big greatsword user or a great axe, you might want to go with Strength. I'm thinking like a hand crossbow in one arm and maybe a shield or a rapier as well. I think that suits the Van Helsing vibe a little bit more. You'll also need, which it doesn't tell you, Constitution. Without a doubt you will need Constitution. Bear in mind, a lot of your abilities are fueled by sacrificing your own lifeblood. So Constitution's going to need to be good. So what we're going to do is, I think we'll put our Dexterity at 15 and let that be our highest score so that we can damage things nice and easily. And then we're going to go with Intelligence, which brings us to a 15. Remember, as a human we get +1 to everything, which is great. Constitution will be next up, and I think Charisma, it's got to be the lowest, I reckon. Strength we'll probably need a little bit of, so I'm going to go with just 10 because remember that +1's just so useful. And Wisdom 12, because I feel like we'd know a little bit about maybe religious artifacts, religiously bound creatures, so we're going to go with that. It's very dexterous and smart. So Moradach Van Martel. For a background, we're going to choose Haunted One, because I have an idea for this character in the future, and that will be in the next video when we talk about the subclasses of the Blood Hunter, and maybe taking him to level 3 and beyond. You are haunted by something so terrible that you dare not speak of it. You try to bury it and run away from it to no avail. Whether this thing haunts you, can't be slain with a sword or banished with a spell. It might come to you as a shadow on the wall, a blood-curdling nightmare, or a memory that refuses to die, or a demonic whisper in the dark. My idea, and I'll just hint it in here, is to go down the subclass which is called Order of the Lycan. Now this gives you the ability to go into a bloodless state, almost werewolf-like, and I know that Van Helsing has those tendencies as well, to become a werewolf and such. So that's where we're going to go, and that's why we're going to have the Haunted One background. Leaning into that, proficiencies, we can only choose Survival here because of the proficiencies we chose earlier. We can also pick a new one. And I think history. I really want to lean into this style of being a monster hunter for quite a few years, maybe a bit grizzled, a veteran of sorts. And I guess our heroic destiny is just coming to fruit now. So history of the world I think will be fantastic and leans into the character nicely. Languages. Again, this is tough. There's no undead language as such. Beasts don't talk either if that's what we're hunting. So maybe something demonic, like Abyssal. Let's go with that. And finally another exotic language. The language of demons and devils. Abyssal and Infernal. Why not? Again, for the 6th time this video, whatever it is, talk to your DM, see what the themes of your campaign are going to be, because this might influence your choices. I really like the background feature for the Haunted one. Those who look into your eyes can see that you have faced an unimaginable horror, and that you are no stranger to darkness. Though they might fear you, commoners will extend you every courtesy and do their utmost to help you, unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them. They will even take up arms to fight alongside you, should you find yourself facing an enemy alone. So I really like this idea of thinking kind of around the Witcher storyline, that Geralt, the Witcher in that, because of his strange appearance, is kind of shunned by society a bit. But hopefully in this world, we are known for our monster hunting skills, unless one of those went awry and we missed it and it destroyed an entire town. It's that kind of rallying against a dark force, or everyone fears and hates you because of what you did to their town. It can kind of go either way. So suggested characteristics, let's go from these as well. So we need to choose 2 personality traits. So we got number 2. I like to read and memorize poetry. It keeps me calm and brings me fleeting moments of happiness. Fantastic. That gives a more sincere side to our character. Maybe a fascination with collecting books wherever we go, or writing. When we do bestiary entries, we write a poem about the creature, so we remember what its weaknesses and strengths are. Just off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. And another one, I put no trust in divine beings. I really like that as well. So while we have to study religiously, excuse the pun, to be able to combat the strongest of foes, we don't actually trust the divine being. Maybe we think that all the corruption in the world comes from them, stems from those kind of creatures. I like that, that's good. D6 ideals, let's roll. So a chaotic one, we got number 4. I have a dark calling that puts me above the law. I like that, that's kind of a vigilante in the night, kind of Batman style. We do the dirty work where other people won't. I like that for monster hunting, that's cool. And bonds. I would sacrifice my life and my soul to protect the innocent. I think that is true to the character that we've talked about so far. They have this destiny, per se, to maybe hunt monsters, and we never want to see anybody else get hurt, and that's why we do it, because we're specialised in it. I like that. And that gives you a good reason to get emotionally involved with your party around you, whoever your adventuring party are. Maybe you're forgiving of perhaps some civilians that have made bad decisions under the guise of a monster or something like that. And finally, a flaw, which can often be the most exciting. 3. I feel no compassion for the dead. They're the lucky ones. That's quite deep. There could be some internal torment there of perhaps when we were infected with this bloodlust curse, this lichen curse, or this job. We feel obliged to do it, but we're not particularly happy about it. And that might make for a fairly careless character, which in some situations can be good, but this is a good character arc to maybe grow your character. At the start, they a little down in the dumps perhaps, a little depressed, they didn't kill the last monster they went after. You want to kind of get away from this life that's captured you, perhaps. Quite dark, that, quite dark. But still, all good fun. Alignment. I think, off the top of my head, neutral good, I think. Do the best they can to help others according to their needs. Yeah, I like that. I think that's fair. We help ourselves, we do a job, we make money by hunting monsters, but we also help other people as well. Lifestyle, I imagine we make a fair living hunting monsters. Let's just go with modest. Physical characteristics, whatever you like. It's completely up to you. I'm not going to fill those out. It's not too important to me right now. Maybe in the future when I think about the character a little bit more. So, organizations. We'd probably be part of a Monster Hunter society, or I'd like to think we would, unless you're a lone ranger kind of thing. Let's think of a name. Well, we said we were going to be Order of the Lycan, perhaps. So maybe we can go down that route. So let's go with Order of the Lupine, which is wolf in, or dog in Latin, I believe. So let's say that's the name of our order. Sounds good. Allies, we might have an assistant or something like that, but our adventuring party, I can't think of one right now. Enemies, I reckon specialist vampire hunter. Backstory, whatever you like. Awesome. So we're almost there. Equipment. Now this is where we really, in my head, I have this vision of Van Helsing and what he looks like. I think a martial weapon, absolutely. And that has to be a rapier. I like the idea of that. Or perhaps like a, in my head it's more of a saber, I think, like a double-edged blade, rather than a pointing one, but we move. And I think probably a hand crossbow. That way, thinking we can keep a shield out and just kind of shoot with one hand to keep things at a distance should we need to. I think that's how I would play this character, which is keep a distance until we have to, and then go all in with all our crimson rights and things like that once we have to kind of engage in melee. And he definitely doesn't wear heavy armor. I think studded leather would be nice. Explorer's pack, Monster Hunter's pack as standard, wonderful. Silver coin, common clothes, love it. Add starting equipment. And that is basically it. As last time, you can export it to a PDF so that you can just use it, the paper version, on the go if you need to go out. Or we can go straight to view character sheet and we'll have a look. So here we are. We have tons of advantage on all these rolls, and that's to recall information only. So make sure if you got a little A or a D there, you know why that is. If you tap on it, it should show up on the right hand side of your screen about why you have these abilities. Let's just equip some of our bits. So crossbow, rapier, studded leather, fantastic. So it looks like we don't have a shield as standard. I would probably talk to the Dungeon Master and say, can I have a shield? Because that's what I imagine the character would, but I guess Van Helsing doesn't. So yeah, awesome. This is the character sheet. This is where you can see all the things you can do as an action and bonus action, which is where you pull your blood curses from. Your blood maledict as well. You can do it once, and if you choose to amplify it, then you take 1d4 points of damage, which is this section here. Okay, great. So features and traits. This is where, again, it lists all of your abilities. This is much shorter than the Artificer's one, because at level 1 we're a much more basic character, I think. It's shoot and stab things, for the most part, until we get access to some spells at a higher level. But that is mine. It can be yours. Your Blood Hunter at first level. So in the next video, the follow-up, we'll probably talk a little bit about all the subclasses, then I'll go into the one that I'm going for in more detail. So yeah, this has been Nathrandir's Guide to Everything. You're ready to play a Blood Hunter? Trust me, it's really fun. You'll really enjoy it. Leave a like and a comment with any videos you want me to make in the future, if you enjoyed it or if you didn't. This is a first foray into talking about D&D for me, online anyway. So any criticism you have or any improvements that I can make, please leave a comment. I'd really appreciate the feedback. So yeah, that's it. Enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.